am undefeated. Thank you! Thank you! No one can challenge the might of... What the hell? Who turned out the lights? Oh, crap. No! 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 Hamburger. Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh overview. Today, let's take a quick look at the Crypt, the monster Hyde from LooseCollector. And you think I'm joking about the weight of this thing, which I kinda am, but it is not uncomfortably, surprisingly heavy. We knew it was a big bulky bastard, but when the mail carrier handed this to me, it was like, whoa, easy, okay, I know what's in this package. Looking at the box, you have a picture of the figure here on the front. Whoa, with red light rays. Red means evil. On the side, another pretty promo shot, and I do mean pretty, real pretty. On the back, there's a bio of the character, more promotional images showing poses and some of the accessories. Caution, intended for adult collectors, not suitable for children under 5 years old due to small parts, choking hazard. If you can fit this in your mouth... On the other side, yet another pose. On top, the monster Hyde. On bottom, big old barcode to go along with this big old package because... Let's get this open. See what's going on here. Yeah, I had to do the dramatic fade away. I'm right-handed, I'm holding it with my left, and it's kind of... Whoa. I was worried for a second because it comes headless in the package. It's meant to be that way. Both heads are in the tray underneath. And this is going to be tough because I can't get the whole thing in camera, which is okay because we're getting into the fine details first, some close-ups. Oh man, this is just one big hunky chunk of plastic. Most of the weight is up here because the upper torso is a solid piece. That gives it a solid feel and a lot more stability to these big honking arms. Below the waist, it's more familiar, I guess. It's more traditional type action figure. It's still huge, but the proportions aren't as... Try to balance it in the middle. Oh, yeah, it's head plant. First glance, you're gonna see all these veins and everything sticking out, and there is that, but you get even closer, and there's some skin texture to go along with that. It's very subtle, but it adds to the organicness, the monstrousness of everything. Gross, what's with the skin? Some heavy striations around the neck, and the hunchbackiness. This right here, more than anything, because you look at your standard Hulk, you got big arms, you got big chest, but this coming around, ooh. Hyde's evil because he's so uncomfortable. That cannot feel good. Even have some of that texture down in the hinge of the elbow. Fingernail, well, at least on this hand that we can see, the thumbnail right there, very nicely done, very realistic. And it's the same thing at the legs. You have the muscles popping, the veins, the texture. Oh, and we gotta look at the toenails, right? Again, just a slight texture to those adds to the realism and the monstrousness. Yeah, I'm gonna keep saying that. Because at the head, he has this windswept hair, he has some mutton chops, and then I think more than anything, well, okay, there's the fangy teeth, but those yellow eyes peering out from the skin tones, it blends in a little, but it also peers out. Well, the gold does kind of match this button on the pants. And I forgot to talk about those because there you have a whole new texture. Kind of that denim material with some belt loops and some pockets and ripped at the bottom because when you're a regular guy turning into a monstrous beast, you're gonna tear up some clothing. It is an overlay, so the leg is plugged in and then this piece is over it, but matching up with the hip piece, both in texture and silhouette. There's not really a break except for the line across. Got the fly, and then again that button. And now that I'm zoomed in, I'm noticing the edges on it. That's a nice sculpt. Hell, the whole thing is a beautiful sculpt, but then the paint just adds to it. It looks like the base plastic is this color because you can see it a little bit more prominent on the hinges at the elbows and then underneath. But on top of that, there's another shade tone that blends in, but then it also accentuates all the musculature. The high points are bright, the down lows are darker, and oh, it even goes around to the back. And again, like the elbows, you can see the base plastic a little better at the knees. There's a little bit of wash to it to blend it in with the rest, but it's a different plastic. Well, I guess it would be the same at the ankles. Oh, in fact, you get further in. There you go. Just look at that, how it blends all together. It may be a little bit splotchy, a little bit splashy, but again, I'm gonna have to say it's adding to that monstrous factor. I guess my only nitpick, and really it's more of a suggestion, I would have liked to seen a slightly different color to the vein work. Maybe a very light blue, subtle purple, something, just to have those pop out a bit more too. Right here at the neck, you can see the pin for the hinge. You take that off and you can see it even better, but I'm not gonna be displaying it with the head off, so you really have to go looking for it in order for it to jump out at you, for it to bug you. I thought I'd point it out because the rest, none of that is really showing. Articulation-wise, like I just showed, there's a ball at the top of the neck with a hinge going down. I should say back because the neck juts forward. Little up, lot of down. And I'm gonna call it tilt because it works that way, but it's essentially rotating on the ball. There is a little side to side. Pin coming out to the arm rotates all the way around, and then a hinge comes up to about right there. Swivel at the bicep. Single hinge at the elbow comes up to 90. With that much muscle, it's just not gonna go up further. Swivel at the wrist with a hinge in and out. I think it's a dumbbell in the mid-torso, can crunch to there. Arcs back some. You can't see anything there with that arm, can you? There we go, we're gonna go full range like that. Nice tilt. Border! And while there is a little rotation there, there's also a cut at the waist that allows for more movement. Ball coming out to the hip allows the leg to swing forward. Back runs into the butt flap. Out. Oh, not bad at all. Swivel at the thigh. Double knee. Gonna bend the top first. And while it looks like there's some clearance there and a recess, that's to allow this to come to here. Not bad at all. Hinge at the ankle goes back, forward a little. Forward facing pin for rocker. And then a toe joint goes up to there. For accessories, Hyde comes with 2 fists. And those should pop right out. It's a little tough, but it's a big chunky peg. That lets you switch in these big open hands that are kind of flat palmed, almost like it's supposed to be down on the ground. Works as relaxed, well, as relaxed as a guy this jacked can get, I guess. Oh, I am relaxed. And then, like I showed at the first and in between, this head sculpt pops right off. But then there is this sexy, sexy head. Same basic concept. You have the fangy teeth, you have the gold yellowish eyes peering out, you have the mutton chops, but then you have this scar over the left eye. It's not on the other one. That means this one's tougher, right? Not to mention that awesomeness. And as I always say, I'm not the guy that goes for big open screaming mouths, but I don't know, I can't help it. Especially since that head is meant to wear the top hat, the stovetop hat. What is this called? I don't know. It just looks good. With that shape on the inside, it's not meant for this head. It's meant for this one, and it even has almost a snap to it. It stays on really nice. I feel like I'm getting a workout. To finish off that look, there's also this torn up coat overlay. Not the softest material, but there is a little flex to it. And getting up close, you can see more of that texture, the torn edges, and then some shade work. That just pops right over the shoulders. Look, kids, it's Hyde. Lays nicely over the back with a hole shining through there. Does float above the shoulders a bit, but again, normal distance, it looks nice. And even with the bulk, you're gonna get some nice poses out of this because of the articulation and how it's implemented. I do wish the head looked side to side a bit more. It'd be easier to get that walking pose out of it, or even running. But at the same time, if you were this muscular, could you look that far side to side? That's just physics and the nature of plastic on plastic violence. I went to swap some parts and I realized these black marks are here, and I didn't remember them from the first. Then I realized when I had my mishap with the head, I couldn't get it on. I slipped and the brown paint here kind of went across as I scuffed down. It looks like with a little elbow grease. Not any solvents. In fact, it says on the package, don't be rubbing it with crazy stuff. Looks like I got most of it off. Also, if you were worried about it standing because of all this mass up top, the feet give you plenty of surface area, and there's not really a problem getting him to upright position. Hyde stands at 9 1/4 up to the top of his back muscles. And then I don't do this very often, but it's about 6 1/4 shoulder to shoulder. And then for thoroughness sake, it's about 4 1/4 from the back to the tip of his nose. And that of course has him towering over other LooseCollector figures like Lady Death and Red Sonja. Obviously it's the same for any 1/12 scale line like Marvel Legends or Star Wars Black Series. And I'm thinking this may take the place of my Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure Mr. Hyde, because ooh, it's more monstrous. Plus, I've been wanting to do a custom with this body, so it all works out. And it's even more massive than the Marvel Legends Hulk, with an immortal Hulk head from Casting Cave. It's actually more in line with the Marvel Legends Hydra Stomper and Hulkbuster. Maybe you want to square him off against the Marvel Select Destroyer or Titanium Man. Or throw him into the DC universe with McFarlane DC Multiverse, Clayface, and Bane. I did not expect this. Oh, you're intimidating, sir. Or let's go a little old school with the legendary comic book heroes Monkey Man and Pit. It's been a long time since I pulled this out, but if you missed out on Pit, not bad custom fodder. Now we're just getting silly with the Mezco Kong and the Marvel Legends Sentinel. And I guess we can't forget about the Mattel T-Rex because that's big too.
I am Groot.
Is that enough comparisons for you? So at the end of the day, it's big, it's bad, it's got a hell of a shelf presence. But something else to take into consideration, it's gonna take up a lot of real estate. Well, I don't know. You stand up straight up and down, the base, the legs can be compacted in. It's the shoulders and the back. So it's gonna push away from the wall quite a bit, but the largest width is gonna be above a lot of figures' heads. And I guess you could pose around, well, I don't know, it's sticking out. It is what it is. And basically, he's large. He cost money. And that's a fact. But he's large. Like I said during the comparisons, this is probably going to be my Marvel Legends Mr. Hyde. But at the same time, you take that off, you take that off, you find another head. There is a lot of customizing possibilities here. Besides the shorts, it's a clean base body. It's a very distinct, almost stylized base body, but it's a base body.